We are now joined by phone by Dominion lawyer Stephen Shackelford. He was prepared to deliver Dominion's opening statement in court today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Nicole.
What were you going to say?
The same thing we've had all along. Fox knew the truth, and Fox broadcast those lies over and over and over again anyway. That was the theme, and that's the truth.
Were you prepared for a settlement today?
I was not. My job was to get ready to give the opening, and it kept getting pushed back, and I kept hoping I'd get to give it, honestly.
What is your reaction to both the news of the settlement and the size of the settlement, $787.5 million?
It's a great day for Dominion. I mean, those people have been through so much. Obviously, getting ready for trial, we've been spending a lot of time with a dozen different Dominion employees and elected officials and so forth. And they've been through some real trauma, Nicole. And to have a day like today where there's real accountability, where Fox is accountable for what they put them through 2.5 years ago, it's a great day for them, a great day for Dominion.
Yeah, I mean, the trauma that the CEO was able to lay bare, I think first at 60 Minutes and in subsequent interviews, became part of the fabric of the story that you and the legal team told. And there's some analysis that while this dollar figure certainly makes Dominion whole, part of the story that was told was also about the damage done to our democracy. On that front, is there a forthcoming apology or acknowledgement that the lies about Dominion were broadcast knowingly and they were just that, lies?
Well, Nicole, an apology is about accountability, and we held them accountable today. We had two goals. We had accountability, and we had justice for our client, for Dominion, and we achieved both those. I think that the accountability is the important part of it, and that's what we achieved.
So the money is the accountability. It's a massive amount of money.
I actually think it's more than the money. We had that summary judgment decision where the judge acknowledged that it was crystal clear that they had broadcast false claims. And I think you heard at the hearings over the last few weeks that the judge might have even been having second thoughts about summary judgment on the actual malice, on whether Fox knowingly published lies. We had a case lined up. I think we were ready to prove it. They have acknowledged, Fox has acknowledged that they published false claims about Dominion. That's part of the accountability. The money's part of it. But frankly, exposing everything that went on behind the scenes, the Fox behind the closed doors in private, so different than what they're broadcasting to all of us, to their viewers. That was a very important part of the accountability that we achieved over the last few months.
And we've talked a lot about how, but for this case that you brought on behalf of your client, Dominion, we would never know that Tucker Carlson thinks Trump is a, quote, demonic force, or that Laura Ingraham, Sean Hannity, and Tucker sought to fire Fox's own fact checker, or that they believe their decision desk, which called the election accurately and first, which in a normal world is something you're proud of, is something they would like to see dismantled. What do you believe, just as someone who is very astute in the political arena as well as the legal one, what do you think the contribution of this case is to our understanding of the role Fox plays in undermining our faith in democracy?
Well, a lot of great reporters have written books on Fox, but I think we had an opportunity, thanks to our court system and an excellent judge and an excellent special master who gave us the discovery, to expose the reality at Fox in a way that had never been done before. I think that was important. I think it helped hold Fox accountable. I think it led to today. So we're really proud of the work we did there. We're very proud of Dominion for bringing this lawsuit, for standing up for itself to Fox, and for carrying it all the way through to the end, all the way through all the discovery and all the way to today.
How much of the legal team will remain intact to take on Smartmatic's case?
We're not involved with Smartmatic's case. What we do have left is we have a number of other defendants that we have sued who defamed Dominion back after the 2020 election. Those cases are still going forward. And after we take a short break, I think we'll all get back to work.
Let me just ask you, because of your client, when John Poulos said this, Fox has admitted to telling lies about Dominion. He's acknowledging Fox acknowledging the court's rulings, because what Fox says is obviously, because it's Fox, and we guessed here between 40 and 70 lawyers had a pencil on this. What they actually said today was, quote, we acknowledge the court's rulings finding certain claims about Dominion to be false. Do you think that's as much of a mea culpa as we'll see publicly from Fox?
Yeah, it's an admission. It is a level of accountability. It's an admission of what the court did, and what the court did was important. So yes, I think that is part of the accountability. But really, we had to do a lot of the accountability ourselves, getting in those documents and getting them out in the summary judgment record. Nicole, I think that was a big part of it as well.
I want to ask you one more question about the legal strategy. It seemed that Fox had some crushing legal blows in the last couple weeks. One was Abby Grossberg suing Fox and becoming one of your witnesses. One was a couple of rulings. I mean, most of their legal turns were defeats for them. How much did adding the special master to what Fox was going to have to take on in terms of legal water, how much do you think that impacted their motivation structure to settle for such a figure of $787 million?
You know, I'm not sure the answer to that. There was a lot of things like that going on at the time. But I do want to say, that reminds me, I mean, a lot of what this case was Fox hired a lot of very smart lawyers who were trying to, in my view, do violence to the First Amendment. And that was a fight we had to have for months and months through all the briefing and the argument with the judge. And the judge came out the right way, that the actual malice standard is the right standard. That's what we were going to hold Fox to at the trial. And that there's not some privilege to be able to publish whatever you want just because it's newsworthy. That was an important part of what the judge did in this case.
And do violence to the First Amendment. That's the first sort of time I've heard it put that way. Say more.
Well, the theories that were advanced in a lot of the briefing, Nicole, if you read through our briefing, the theories that Fox was advancing would basically give a free pass to knowingly publish lies, even if you know they're lies, as long as you think that they're newsworthy enough. That was a theory that we fought through round after round after round of briefing. And Judge Davis read all the briefings, took extensive argument on it, and he came out the right way. He said, no, there's no free pass just because something's newsworthy. If you know it's a lie, you can't publish it or you face liability.
It's an extraordinary thing to sort of sit in for a minute. I mean, Fox News smears journalists from this organization, from the New York Times, from the Washington Post. But importantly, in terms of that being advanced as their legal argument, their own news organization. I mean, I think some of the biggest bombshells, the things we came on the air and said, oh, my God, were revelations about their hatred for their own journalists. What do you think the lasting impact is of this picture you were able to depict for again, in your legal pursuit for Dominion, but you were able to illustrate that Fox is at war with itself, with the titans, the on-air personalities like Tucker Carlson, Laura Ingraham, and Sean Hannity, smearing and internal communications, their fact checkers, their decision desk, their Washington bureau chief, their journalists, and people who don't go along with promoting the lies about the election result.
I think the evidence speaks for itself about Fox, at least parts of Fox, knowingly spreading lies. I think the rest of that is internal baseball that I'm not really well-suited to speak to, Nicole.
I want to ask if Andrew Weissman, my friend and colleague, could lob a question at you.
Of course.
So congratulations just in terms of the result, but also the documents that you were able to turn over. And I had sort of two related questions. One is, are there documents that we would have seen that you're able to talk about, or does the settlement preclude you from talking about what we might have learned? Not that what we learned was chopped liver was really amazing, but is there more that we would have learned at the trial?
I can't think of a document, for instance, that was going to be in the opening or that was high on my list for trial that hadn't already seen the light of day through the summary judgment process, Andrew. I think y'all saw, I think we accomplished what we wanted through the summary judgment process.
And is there some reason that Fox didn't try to settle, or maybe they did try to settle, to avoid all of the documents coming to light? That was certainly something when all of our jaws were dropping, learning what you knew, and now is made public, that why Fox didn't try to settle before that happened, when presumably you had enormous leverage at that point. Is there anything you can tell us about that discussion internally?
All I'll say is Dominion wanted accountability, and we had to get all the way to today to get that.
Was there anything about the jury that gave Dominion pause, or was Fox the driver of settlement talks?
I was prepping my opening, Nicole. I wasn't involved in that call.
I just say it's like the show we'll never hear. The opening we'll never hear. You've been so generous with your time, and all along the way, Dominion was very forthcoming with the press. Lots of great professionals understanding our interest in this case and its import in the political conversation. I just want to give you a last word again in the vein of an opening statement that you now don't get to make in terms of how this case may have, or if you hope it has, changed the conversation around accountability in the media and political arena.
Well, the truth matters, and $787.5 million hopefully will make a difference the next time a major news network decides to put profits over the truth.